Hey everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is Antonio Furgiuele, joined as always by Brian Meskill, as is tradition. And today we'll talk about a few of our favorite games in the NFL today. Let's start with Pittsburgh over Oakland.
No, let's not start with that. Let's start with what happened last night.
What happened last night?
Packers-Seahawks game. You know exactly
Everyone's
Everybody's
talking
about it, so we might as well touch on the subject.
The game that's getting the NFL referees back in the game.
Go down in infamy.
Infamy. All right, so if you didn't see the play, then you need to get a TV set and get underneath
Just
the rock.
YouTube it. You can YouTube it. Get out.
Golden Tate. Exactly. Russell Wilson, first of all, makes an athletic play, scrambles around, and then throws the ball up, trying to give his player a chance. And Golden Tate, as well as 4 other Packers, are
jumping off of the ball, but Golden Tate pushes off of Sam Shields.
Or it was either Sam Shields or Tramon Williams.
He pushed off Sam Shields.
Sam Shields. And he jumped late because he had to push one guy out of the way, give himself a chance, and catches the ball when Harris already had it in his hands. I'm sorry, Jennings. I'm messing this one up.
Yep.
Jennings already had it in his hands. So basically, Golden Tate caught the guy with the ball and got a touchdown.
Yep. It was a terrible call. They even reviewed it. It was absolutely horrendous.
NFL today said, NFL commissioner said that he supports the ref's decision on the game. And
I mean, you have to. You have to. I mean, as a commissioner, you have to support them. Like, what are you going to be like? Yeah, no, we suck. You're right. We need to reverse it. No. As a commissioner, you have to take that stance. That's what you have to do. I mean, it sucks. I don't think that they should reverse the call. I know they're not going to.
Oh, they can't now.
I also don't think they should. No, they could. I just don't think they should
do
it. No, the NFL could reverse it. Absolutely. They could say, no, that was the wrong call. And
no, the game's already been played.
No, they could do it.
Yeah, but the game's already been played.
They technically can do it, but they shouldn't do it. And
they do it in any other sport?
I don't agree that they should do it. They could, they can, but they don't. I don't agree that you should. I mean, that's part of the human error. But it was a terrible, terrible, terrible call. Terrible mistake. I mean, you had both refs. One signal a touchdown, one signal a touchback for the interception.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, and then Golden Tate in the interview. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
You pushed straight off the guy. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, what? What do you mean?
No, they didn't. They didn't even say, "Hey, did you catch Jennings?" And they didn't say that. They said, "Did you push off?" And he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I mean, I understand you're not. What is he going to do? So admit that he did it, but I mean, at the same time, you don't have to be like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Just be like, "No comment," something like that. So at least you know what you did, but you're not admitting to it. But that's by saying you have no idea what you're talking about. Don't insult our intelligence. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. I'm not even, I don't even care who won that game. I just am really disappointed to see that the quality of officiating we have in the NFL right now. I'm not saying it's always been great, but the quality is so poor right now. It's so poor right now, and it's ruining the integrity of the game. The players are doing everything they want to do. Coaches are even doing what they want to do. There's no discipline on the field, and they're getting away with unreal amount of stuff. There's terrible calls. Like last night, Sidney Rice had a pass interference against him by, I think it was Sam Shields, and Sam Shields didn't even touch him. Sam Shields went for the ball. Sidney Rice pushed off of him. They called defensive pass interference. Absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it, and it's a travesty and a terrible, terrible thing to happen to this game.
I feel like a lot of the refs are like just looking at each other after the plays, saying like, "Hey man, what do you want to do?" And they're like confused. They're like, "Do we call pass interference? Is it holding? Is a runner out on third?"
Yeah, that meme we saw yesterday.
We got holding on
team. Travel on team 2. That's an 8-yard loss, and the runner on third is out. That's definitely what
NFL memes on Facebook is hilarious. You guys gotta check it out. But I feel like these referees are half the time they're looking at each other, and they don't know what to call, and the other half the time they're just like, let's see what the quarterback and the defense have to say. And after almost every passing play that goes for an incompletion, the quarterback is looking for a flag. And after every reception, the defense is looking like, oh, come on, flag. They pushed off me.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy now. Even more so is that players are like, even more so, they're being more aggressive before and after the whistle. You see them more like hitting each other helmet to helmet. They're yelling at each other more.
They're trying to see what they can get away with.
Right, and for the most part, I think they are getting away with a lot more, and it's ridiculous. It literally is ruining the game. These, what are they? D3 refs?
They're D2, D3, Arena, and Lingerie Football League.
Yeah. Let them get out.
Yeah, the ref that called it a touchdown last night has never refereed a game above Division 3 in his entire life.
So what is that, like high school ball?
That was his first NFL game.
Jesus. I remember when they had the first Monday Night Football game, they were like, yeah, we got the best officiating crew out there. And it's like, oh, crap. Because there were so many bad calls, and it's like, how much worse can it actually
get? These refs are supposed to ref on Thursday night, too, I heard.
Oh, so God.
I told our friend Timbo Slice, he's a Ravens fan, he might be screwed this week.
He's screwed why?
He's screwed because it's going to be the officials from this game refereeing Thursday.
That's terrible. That is terrible. All right, let's not talk about Oakland over the Steelers.
I don't want to talk about that game. That was absolutely horrendous.
While I was watching that game with my girlfriend,
they tore apart the entire Steelers defense, and it looked like crap. I've never seen them play that bad in my life, except last year in Baltimore. But that was also, the offense was terrible too. Today, actually, Sunday, the offense was incredible. Ben Roethlisberger threw for over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, had a great game, and the defense just could not stop the pedestrian Oakland offense. Like, yes, they have Run DMC.
What are you talking about? Janikowski was good. He's part of their offense.
Yeah, but it was absolutely horrendous. I've never seen that bad of a performance by them. Honestly, it was by their defensive unit. It's like they completely changed. They switched with the offense. The offense is now good. The defense is, and it was just a terrible, terrible loss. Hopefully they'll learn from it. Mike Tomlin won't have They got a bye week this week. He's not gonna, he'll make sure they get over it. But I saw an article today on Bleacher Report saying that
what a terrible site that is. I hate that site so much. Mike Tomlin
have to worry about his job. Are you kidding me? They're 1-2. Yeah, they lost to the Raiders. Right. But are you kidding me? Does he have to worry about his job?
Okay, here's Bleacher Report's formula. Because I wrote a few articles for Bleacher Report, and I figured out how it works, and I couldn't stand it. Basically, how Bleacher Report works is you piss off or you make really controversial articles about your team, and you will get the front page and you will get the views.
That's ridiculous.
If you write anything that's like, oh, hey, look, the team is good, no, controversial article, no one cares. Because it's like, yeah, you're probably right. Probably right. I won't even pay attention to it. But I've seen a lot of, I'll read like the Jaguars articles every now and again, and half the time it's like, oh, Blaine Gabbert sucks. It's like, well, last time I checked, he does only have 51 of his passes completed, but he also has 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. Last time I checked, that's a pretty good stat line for a guy that came out of the shotgun offense with receivers that are learning right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that point. I really do. I don't know. I'm kind of just speechless on that entire game. I don't really.
It's still resonating with you. How much did people lose this past weekend? I mean, people betting on the Steelers, people betting on Green Bay. Millions and millions of dollars must have been lost this past weekend.
It is quite possible. I mean...
Oh, it is probably. It happened.
The 49er Minnesota game. The 49er Vikings. Like, what is that? Like, how much money was lost from that? How many people out of, those pools were lost? Survivor pools. Like, oh, God, it's terrible.
We actually talked to this... me and my brother were watching the Green Bay-Seattle game last night at Kodiak's. And there was this guy that was like, that was one of the worst calls in the NFL. And he's like, I just won $180 in a survival pool because of it. Everyone picked New England last week, which was atrocious. And then he's like, everyone this week picked San Francisco. And he's like, I'm the only one that picked Seattle because I'm like, I don't want to pick the same team as everyone else. And he won $180 because he didn't pick, the safe pick. And the safe pick will get you in trouble because teams looking at like a really weak team like Oakland, let's say, or Minnesota, they're like, I'm not going to take this, I'm going to take this lightly. I mean, people do it in high school, college, football, NFL football. It's a trap game, and that's what happens.
I mean, that Minnesota defense was really, really good against the 49ers, and their offense was really good against their defense. So, I mean, the 49ers, I think that was just a little mix-up. I think they'll definitely be back. They're playing the Jets this week, so they should be fine. So
I think they'll stop the Wildcat pretty well.
I don't think it's going to be a problem at all, but, it's weird. This is a weird week in the NFL. It's a very weird week. You have the Steelers losing to the Raiders. You got the Packers losing to Seattle. But don't get me wrong, Seattle is a little underrated. They had 8 sacks in the first half yesterday. I mean, that's all they ended up getting, but that's still insane. 8 sacks in the first half.
Mike McCarthy must have been yelling at them so much in the back. So much. I didn't know if I was watching the Packers or the Bears because they got sacked so much.
Like back-to-back weeks. Terrible.
Yeah, seriously.
By offensive line. But then we also have the, like I said, the 49ers and the Vikings. So that was a weird game. Another one, Tennessee and Detroit. I mean, Detroit came back. What did they have, a minute left and scored 2 touchdowns? It's unreal. But so it is possible, to come back. The game's never over any given Sunday. You know
what? I'm really confused about Detroit, how they haven't drafted like a good corner or safety in like 5 years, and they've been needing a good corner. I get it. Like, they've been strengthening their offense. They have a really good offense now. I mean, McKellar showed up. I mean, it's good that he is not suspended or hurt because he's
I'm a fan of McKellar. I told
he's the running back they needed.
That he was gonna start again. And
well, he never. This was his first NFL start.
Kevin Smith was,
No, he's dealing with his own injury things.
And I was like, yeah, I'm telling you, McKellar will take it back, and he did. And what I'm actually really interested to see, I'm very intrigued, is what's going to happen with. There's just few running back situations. I want to see what happens in Miami with Reggie Bush.
Hold on. Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah.
I think the Lions need to draft a player that used to be a police officer. This way they stop getting keep him in line and not get him. They really need they need a team captain is what they need.
Yeah, they do. I know Megatron said I know Stafford's there, but they need somebody on defense.
They need a Ray Lewis. They need a Ray Lewis on their team.
Ray Lewis was also, charged with killing somebody, wasn't he? Or shooting somebody?
Yeah, 8 years into his career.
Still.
No, but seriously. Yeah, but he's also the guy that
he won't be the best role model.
He also leads his team in Bible study.
True, but that's like saying, I don't even want to get into that. So
anyway, what else were you talking about? You were talking about Tennessee.
Yeah, I was talking about Tennessee, and then I was talking about something that I don't.
Well, you know who I like to talk about? Atlanta. I picked Matt Ryan. I picked Matt Ryan in the 4th and 5th round in most of my fantasy drafts because I thought, oh my God, this guy is going to go off this season. And for right now, he has. He scored 2 or 3 touchdowns in every game. Passing, that is. He's also scored a rushing touchdown. He has Julio and Roddy White, as well as Tony Gonzalez, who has not shown his age at all.
No.
This guy is ridiculous. And I feel like they're going to take it all the way to the Super Bowl.
That was my prediction.
Atlanta's defense has also been phenomenal.
That was my prediction.
Without Grimes.
I said Houston and Atlanta. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, obviously. I want the Steelers to go, so I'm obviously going to root for them. But I really think that they're not ready for it this year. So I really think it's going to be Houston and Atlanta.
By any chance, did you see the hit on Matt Schaub? Back-to-back, helmet to helmet hits.
Lose part of his ear?
His ear, oh my God. His ear looked like some sort of synthetic prop that you would put on Halloween. Yeah. It was all bloodied.
I heard
he got hit so hard, his helmet came off.
Now, hopefully they get fined for that.
They did.
Back.
As well as the Broncos staff.
See, that goes back to all these different fines that go back to we don't have the reps.
Not only did the players get fined,
different things. The coaches got fined too. I know.
Both coaches got fined as well.
Fox and
Jack Del Rio.
So I don't even know. I think the NFL is just a mess right now. I think it's very discombobulated. I mean, the one thing I do like about the NFL over all other sports is, and then this I'll always like, is that every few years you get different teams that are going on top. Like the past couple years, 49ers were terrible. And now they're one of the best teams.
Well, yeah, it's just the way it goes.
Terrible.
You get those draft picks.
Exactly, but you look at baseball or like something like that, or like basketball.
Baseball's usually about how much you can pay your players,
how
right?
much you pay your players. Like look at the Miami Heat. They were terrible the past few years until they got LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. And yeah, they won a championship in 06, so don't get me wrong.
But then
they were
after
terrible
that,
before that and terrible right after that. They had one good year, and then they were terrible right after that. And as soon as they lost Shaq, they got him. They were good. Lost Shaq, they sucked again. So, or they were mediocre. But yeah, you get a bunch of switch ups with the different teams, and then it brings more competition. Like Seattle's good now, and the Rams are getting better, and the Cardinals are 3-0, and the Texans used to be terrible, and now they're 3-0. So you see all this different change, and I do like that, but they need to get this situation with the refs figured out. They need to get everything hammered out because the integrity of the NFL is just going down, and it's just
a mess, and that's what's gonna happen. These referees, they need to get out of here. It's like you ever see the Replacements? It's like, can we get these scabs out of here?
It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's move on to your game of the week, and not the Packers-Seattle game. If you could choose any other game of the week, what would you choose? Well,
I'm a Jaguars fan, and I'm saying top 3 comeback games was Jags, the Jaguars versus the Colts.
Game.
It was a division game and a last-second 80-yard touchdown reception by Cecil Shorts.
Would be my game of the week.
Oh no, I'm saying top 3.
Well, that would be that's my second, because I personally believe the game of the week goes to the Titans-Lions.
Titans-Lions was a crazy game.
The Lions was absolutely incredible. I mean, they lost in overtime, but hey, and you also had the Chiefs and the Saints. That was a comeback by the Chiefs.
How about the Raiders Steelers?
Dude, I tell you, I'm not talking about that.
How the Raiders just came back.
That is over with. I'm not talking about it. It's in the past.
I feel like they had replacement players on the field.
We didn't perform very well, and we're on to next week. We won't hang this over our heads. It'll be a tough one to swallow, but we'll move on and we'll improve from there. And that's my stance as well.
That sounds like a very, very scripted closing statement.
Of course.
But I feel like they have these ready just in case they lose.
Of course they do, but I mean, whatever. It's just...
I mean, sometimes I like a little bit of personality. Like the meltdowns that like a Derek Anderson has had is hilarious. It's just so much fun to watch. Or that coach of the Bears. What was it? The Bears? No, it wasn't the Bears. We are who they thought they were.
Oh, the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. Green. Oh my God, those are phenomenal.
They are who we thought they were.
Pulling the Bill Belichick. Yeah, we just did it before. Yeah. Those they're just like, come on, like, can you stop? Like, can you talk? Like, you're responsible for these post-game interviews, and they're not talking. Like, if you melt down, you melt down. If you're just like, you know what, I'm really upset that we lost today. Oh God, he's showing emotion. He's upset. That's all I asked for. Because when they win, they're all smiles. I mean, even after the Seattle game, you could see just the Packers players. Everyone was just McCarthy just came out and just said, "Hey, listen, let's get this out of the way. It was a bad call." Russell Wilson in the interview was saying how much he was just like, "Yeah, what am I gonna say? It was a bad call." And he just had a big smile on his face because it wasn't his responsibility.
Yeah.
But Golden Tate, I don't know what you're talking about. I have
no idea.
Like, bro, you were lying to my face.
I said before, what are you supposed to,
Like, I love those.
Supposed to say that he didn't push, like, oh yeah, I pushed off, but we still won. No, you can't say that. But at the same time, come on, you use a different phrase.
If they haven't reversed Super Bowls or any game at all in recent memory, they're
never going to reverse.
They have the power, but
because then that just shows that they have.
Because then doing their job. You know what it is? If one game gets reversed, it's going to lead down the line to a whole series of games, even Super Bowls being reversed. And you're right. They don't want to look like they're dumb that they can't officiate their own games. So they're never gonna do that. And
yeah, so let's move on to something more pleasant. Let's move on to fantasy football. I mean,
My favorite.
In our money league, I'm 0-3 by just unfortunate events.
You have like over 350
I mean,
points
yes, I have
scored
the least amount of points scored in the league by like a point, so that's not good. But at the same time, I have 360 points scored on me. Everybody else, the next highest person's at 295 scored on them. So almost
Dude,
a
you
whole
have like
game's
350.
Worth, it's 360.
Oh God.
359.54. So that's ridiculous. I'm just having the worst luck in the world.
Well, you know what that comes down to? You're having so many points scored on you because you let those players get away. No, I'm just joking. You actually drafted pretty well. You drafted... Okay, what were your top 4 picks? What were your top 4 picks? Okay, CJ 2K.
Bust. Okay, all right.
So all right, second pick, Julio Jones.
Me for that. Julio Jones, solid. Third round, I got Adrian Peterson, but I traded him away for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, the fact that you got Adrian Peterson in the middle of the third round was awesome.
And then my 4th round pick, Demaryius Thomas. And I mean, I traded him away too.
I feel like Demaryius Thomas is a bit of a high pick.
Well, I traded him and Peterson to get Ridley and Rodgers.
Now, can I tell you what I feel like is the problem with you playing fantasy? Now, for the past 2 years, you've been making the very hot picks, which I don't blame at all.
Yeah.
They worked this week, even though you lost. You picked up
I had a good
Brown.
week.
No, you picked up Brown from the Giants, and you picked up Bennett as well from the Giants, and they scored you in our league 39 points because we have bonus points for certain performances.
Over 100 yards, stuff like that.
And no PPR though. And I feel like you make too many trades.
I know, I understand that too, and I get that. And the trades, I mean, I kind of give up a little easily.
Well, you got to think of it this way.
Time, I don't know.
I watched recently a football.
Well, I only made 2 trades this year.
You've made 2 trades for a lot of players.
Well, the first
you made a trade with me. You made a trade with Sal, and then you made another trade.
Well, the first trade was Cutler for Jonathan Stewart, and that didn't really do anything. That was pretty much a wash. Stewart hasn't played, but Cutler's been terrible.
I don't know why you would pick up a running back that split carries with his quarterback and his another running back.
I needed a running back anyway, just to put in there. Well, I didn't need him because I had Shot, but so whatever. I also used him as trade bait if somebody needed a running back desperately. So that was a wash there. Then I traded you Jeffrey and Tate for Fred Jackson, who might play this week and start.
When he was hurt.
But he might play this week and start.
No. Fred Jackson is still hurt. They said Fred Jackson would have a better chance of playing.
75% chance of playing.
That he would have a better chance of playing than CJ Spiller.
Well, he's got a
but why do that when the bye week is coming up? They might activate him. They don't? I thought bye week was week 6.
Oh, yeah, week 6, but still. They said, if anything, he's back week 5 regardless.
Okay, but put it this way. Why would you rush a guy that you know will perform for you week in, week out, rush him or C.J. Spiller when you could just put Tashard Choice, who had a pretty good game last week. Why would you rush him?
They're going to give Tashard Choice carries, absolutely, but they're still going to play Fred Jackson. I have a feeling they're going to play Fred Jackson.
It's a passing league. They're not going to risk their two now star running backs.
I think they will because they need to win. They need to win.
Every team needs to win.
Hurt now, but they can rest him.
Well, would you rather?
He won't play these next 2 weeks. Be off the bye week, and then they'll have.
Would you rather win 2 games now or 4 games later?
I think they'll be fine. They need to win the games now as well.
I think they'll be all right. But regardless,
I traded that. I got Fred Jackson and Warren Robinson, who I dropped, and then this last trade, I traded Demaryius Thomas and Adrian Peterson and Emmanuel Sanders as well for Peterson and. For Rodgers and Ridley. So, there weren't bad trades. None of them were bad, terrible trades. And none of them, honestly, none of the trades that I made would have had me win in any week that if I didn't make those trades. So I wouldn't have won regardless of the players I had, did the points. So that doesn't matter. It's not like I traded them away and lost points because I traded them away. I gained more points from trading them away.
Well, look.
So I still lost. So.
The point I was trying to make before was that I watched the Football Freakonomics. Have you seen those? They're actually pretty informative.
Yeah.
And they tell you about weird things that comparisons that might happen that actually become very relevant. So what they were telling was they were saying teams that have in the last 5 years win percentage based on how much of the team is comprised of homegrown talent, which means drafted or undrafted, compared to teams that make trades and pick up free agents. Now, of those teams, the teams with the most homegrown talent have had the best win-loss records compared to, I think the top 5 teams were the Packers, teams that draft a lot of players and keep them. And then the teams that traded the most and picked up a lot of free agents was like the Lions. And like it shows a big gap where like the Packers, because they have so much homegrown talent, they're able to develop their team and not give up on them. Learn the system, like you said with the Steelers one time in a separate conversation. The Steelers defense, they need to be on that team for a few years to actually get a good grasp of the defense, because the zone blitz exactly. You don't know on one play if you're going on the inside shoulder, outside shoulder, if you're dropping back in coverage, or if you're going to be in a man or something like that, even for a defensive end or a D tackle. But my point is that stick with what you have. Stick with what you have. Let go of the pieces that you think are really not going to contribute as much. Try to get the best deal possible and try to trade rape if you can, like I have.
Yeah, seriously.
Last year I traded Ryan Matthews and Santonio Holmes for Maurice Jones-Drew, and then just, whatever player that I dropped. And Jones-Drew ended up getting me 60 points in 2 games.
Yeah, unreal.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, you got that luck. I got. I'm just.
Because you make very desperate attempts at trades.
I should win this week,
and that should be a notice to everyone. Don't trade away your player just because they had a bad week or two.
I should win.
Do you think I should trade Roddy White away just because he's ranked 17 right now, and him and Brandon Marshall are literally 1 point away? No, of course not. I'm going to keep both of them.
No, absolutely not. But whatever. I needed a quarterback, so I'll take Rodgers any day.
And you had Schaub?
Even though Schaub was better this week. No,
Aaron Rodgers has been killing fantasy teams. He was for people that drafted him in the first, second, or third overall.
30-something points scored.
He has 30-something points. You know how many Matt Ryan and Robert Griffin have?
Robert Griffin has like 60-something.
In our league, he has 80.
Oh, he does have 80, yeah. In
our league, he has 80 because rushing is 10 yards is 1 point, and rushing touchdowns is 6 points, which is in most standard leagues. And then Matt Ryan has about 72 in ours for passing performances.
All right. Well, before we go, I just want to get your fantasy player of the week.
This past week?
No, this upcoming week. Who do you play?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't really looked too much, but I feel like player like LaShawn McCoy should probably start stepping it up. But outside of
the Giants, so
it doesn't matter, man. But I feel like we should stay away from the top 12 picks just because I have LaShawn McCoy and he really hasn't shown up too much. Vic has been getting hurt, so they should be running the ball more now. Vic has been getting hit way too much.
The main top 12 pick that happened in our draft that's doing a consistent basis is Calvin Johnson's doing well. And consistently, Ray Rice. Everybody else has been
kind of eh.
Stafford,
Aaron Foster's been okay.
Yeah, Aaron Foster's been all right, but he only got so those guys are consistently doing good, but 3 out of the top 12 picks in our league are doing something.
You know what? I feel like Tim said 2 weeks ago, Michael Bush, I feel until Matt Forte, even when Matt Forte comes back, I feel like Michael Bush is probably one of the best starts in the flex or number 2 running back slot, just because he is so underrated. I mean, he's a fullback playing running back. He's barreling through defenses.
Absolutely.
I think he's a great play. There's also one more player that I really like. If anyone gets to check out, I believe his name is Armand Binns or Hawkins on the Bengals. Both of those players have been actually pretty decent. So if you need a good plug-in, especially now because it's the first bye week for a flex spot, check out those players. They've actually been pretty decent. I mean, Andy Dalton can't throw to A.J. Green every play. And Jermaine Gresham has been, all right. But if you need a flex spot for number 2 or 3 wide receiver or a flex spot, take one of those guys. They've been excellent.
I think my start of the week is going to be, if he's healthy, Pierre Garçon versus Tampa Bay.
Is he still injured or?
I don't know. He didn't play last week, but I don't see him not playing 3 games in a row. So hopefully he plays, but if he does and he's healthy, I think look for him to have a big game. But, I think that's it.
All right, guys, that's our time, and thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday.